time 10 minutes, and if you want to leave some room for questions, you need to include this in your 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to put some minutes of questions in there. Thank you. I'm Martijn. I'm a master's student from the University of Twente. I'm also a RASI attendee. So the other RASI presentations are tomorrow. Please go to them as well. They're at 6. And I'm here to tell you something about Internet Traffic Statistics Archive. It's a project that we've been working on at the DAX group of the University of Twente. And I'd like to start off with a couple of questions. It's the little game of have you ever. And I'm wondering if you've ever assumed HTTP accounts for most of the internet traffic. You've probably assumed it. You've probably made decisions on it, what to focus on. But is it actually true for all of the networks? Maybe not. You can probably answer this for yourself. And there's no plot twist in my presentation. Don't worry, HTTP mostly is the most important protocol. Maybe you've wondered if HTTPS is slowly taking over HTTP. This is probably an interesting topic for most of you who implement things regarding HTTPS. You need to know if it's going to be more important in your traffic. Maybe this is true for your country, but is it true all over the world? How applicable is your solution? Or maybe you've been interested in the differences of internet characteristics between countries or continents. Traffic has some characteristics in your country, but it might be different in other countries. I've actually seen some differences in the ratio of TCP and UDP traffic between countries. Or maybe you've basically thought of, does the internet grow? This is a very basic question that even a journalist or an economist could ask. How important is the internet to us? These questions you could probably answer because you're doing research in this. You're probably maybe even operating a network. But you can't answer this for other networks. And if you're a journalist, how will you answer these questions? Well, there was a solution to finding this kind of information. Internet 2, an NREN in America, had the Abilene network. And on this network, they posted weekly reports. The weekly reports were public on a website and showed a couple of interesting things. Like, you see, HTTPS is indeed an important protocol. It accounts for almost 37% of their traffic. But HTTPS, this is from 2010, was only 3%. You can also see that TCP traffic is, of course, the most important, etc. But this was only on their network, the Abilene network, an academic network. And they stopped this project in 2010. The website is actually offline right now. But it was cited a lot by journalists, by economists, and it was used in network research as well to say things like HTTP is the most important. That's why we're focusing on this. So this is down. There's no real source of information right now. So we figured a new source of information is needed. Which brings me to the project that we've been working on, which is called ITSA, the Internet Traffic Statistics Archive. And it basically consists of a couple of phases. First, we collect the data, which is based on NetFlow data. We put this through a couple of scripts, which generate a JSON report file, which is just a very average, very small file with information on the data. This reduces like hundreds of gigabytes of NetFlow data to maybe a file of 100 megabytes. This JSON report file is sent to us, stored in a local database, and published publicly for anyone to access. Well, let me go through a couple of the phases of the system quickly. First off, the data providers. Of course, we want to provide a service where you can see data from all around the world. So we set up the system with cooperation from DAIC and Chestnut, and it's working very good right now. You can download reports from them from almost every week from the past year. But of course, we want to expand this and show you what the internet looks like everywhere. So we're talking with a couple of other NRENs, network operators, to have their data included as well. And of course, if you know anybody, if you would like to cooperate on this, please let me know. And hopefully we will show more and more how the internet looks like in general. The data is just stored at the network operators. We don't need to have it. They run our scripts and only have to send us a 100 megabyte file, maybe 200, but it's not in the ranges of 100 of gigabytes. So the script generates a JSON report file. It calculates some statistics, like which ports are used most, which IP protocols are used most, a couple of other statistics as well, We're expanding on this as well. The project is in development, so if you want to give me some tips on what you think is interesting to see, let me know. The report file is just JSON. It's very readable, so anybody could use it to perform their own statistics on it. But we're showing a couple of examples on a website. So the report file is sent to us, it's stored, it's presented publicly. How we do that, of course, it's a website. How we publish it. We have some nice Google Charts graphs on it to show you a couple of examples on what you could do with the data, what you could represent. Here we see last week for RMP, which is an NREN in Brazil. And you can see that HTTP is the most used protocol there, followed by HTTPS, which is almost a third of the web traffic there. So on this website, you can download the JSON files. You can see some information on the provider. How does their network look like? What router does the data come from? And of course, we're talking about NetFlow data, so it's also listed what their sampling rate is. Well, this is the system right now. People can access it, people can view it. It's on stats.simpleweb.org. The link is further on in the presentation as well. And we're looking to expand this. We're looking to expand it with more data sources, because as I mentioned before, we want to show you what the internet looks like in general, of course. So it would be nice to have data from all of the continents. If there's anybody here who has some data from Antarctica, I would love it. It's maybe one packet in a year or something. Would be interesting. We're also looking to include IPv6, of course. It's done a lot, but it would be nice to include it here as well to see this network, how is the IPv6 adoption in it. That's something we're including. If you have any other ideas, again, let me know. And we're expanding the website with historical views. So you can see how is HTTPS increasing over time, for example, or is TCP increasing. This was interesting. In the Internet 2 example I gave, you could see that in 2004, HTTP was not a very important protocol. It was billboard protocols, of course. And you can see HTTP increasing over the years. And as I showed before, HTTPS in 2010 on their network was only 3% of traffic. And for RMP last week, it was only like 17%. So you can see that increasing over time as well. We also want to include comparative views, so you can compare Brazil and Europe, or an aggregated view where you can see, okay, so how does the whole world look like? That is quickly the project that we're doing. Again, if you have more questions, send me an email, come up to me, or Ricardo, he's the postdoc at the DAX group who is advising me in this. And visit our website, stats.simpleweb.org. Thank you, and if you have any questions now, I think we have 1.5 minutes left.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Yeah. Okay, go to the mic, please. State your name.
Sebastian Castro, and CRS, we run the .nz domain name. We host one of the name servers for AQ, which is Antarctica. We might can give you some stats. No, but that's the joke. Did the university develop the platform you used to publish the data?
Yeah, I've been working on this project for a few years, and we developed everything, yes.
Is there a reason why you didn't go with CCAN, for example?
This is very specific to NetFlow data and what we want to accomplish with it. And it's a very decentralized system, which we just thought up and implemented. So it's just an original idea, so that's why we didn't go with...
Yeah, it's not for generic data set, it's for like very specific data sets.
Yes.
Okay, do you have API support or API keys or stuff like that?
Sorry?
Access to the data through an API.
No, you can download the JSON files and do anything with the data you want. So we don't have an API, you can just download all the data if you want to.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about data portals after.
That would be nice.
During the break. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have 15 seconds left for any other question.
Who dares?
No. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we have Remco. He will explain to us how the $1,000 IXP can be built. Is it dollars or euros?